Today we're going to talk distribution. And with our work-free, hassle-free fundraising guarantee, we need to go over the details of what to expect with your delivery. Now, with a traditional fundraiser, there are going to be two different options of delivery in which we're going to fulfill your orders. One is going to be LTL, where if you have a large sale with more than 35 sellers or 35 boxes, we're going to be shipping the materials to your organization via LTL, or what we call freight. Now with freight, that means that a semi-truck or a box truck is going to show up to your school or organization. That order is going to be on a pallet, just like what you see here. The pallet will then be brought off the back of the truck via a lift gate, and then the driver will then bring that product up to your door. Now that is as far as freight services will go. You're going to need volunteers to take the product off the pallet and bring it inside the organization. But we've made that easy as well, and we'll go over those details in a minute. The other option is if you have less than 35 packages, we are going to ship it via ground. We have partnered with FedEx, and it will be arriving to your organization on a FedEx truck. The driver will then bring it to your organization, and they'll bring it inside. Again, that's under 35 boxes. The way the boxes will arrive are just like what you see here. They'll either come strapped if you have multiple boxes, or they'll come individual if it's a smaller order. Within all the packages, from freight to ground, every order will have a packing slip. And the packing slip could look like this, where you're going to have the name, the organization, and what that seller has sold. Or if you're going to be an individual order, it's going to come attached to the FedEx label, which the label will be on the box, and the packing slip will be inside with the product. With a traditional fundraiser, again, if you have more than 35 packages, it's going to come freight. When it comes freight to your organization, every box is going to be labeled. And like what you can see here, the box is going to have a label with the student's name and also all the other information about your organization. The most important thing is every box is going to have a number. The way we package your orders is alphanumerical. What that means is box number 1 will be at the beginning of the alphabet, and the last number will be towards the end of the alphabet. So again, the goal at the organization is to put box number 1 next to box number 2, next to box number 3, and once you put all the boxes in order, you are set up and ready for the parents or the students to come and pick up their orders and take them back home for distribution to their friends and family. So on a pallet, when it arrives to your organization, if you have multiple pallets, you're going to want to make sure before you start breaking down is to look at what the numbers are on the boxes before you start taking them off the pallet. We are going to ship them to you in numerical order. So you're going to want to either start at the end of the alphabet or start at the beginning of the alphabet. And what we recommend doing is some prep work, is just to print out a sheet that will say orders 1 through 25. So when our pallet arrives, it's very easy for you and your volunteers to put the boxes in order, put them in rows, so that way when your parents show up, you can just tell them what row to go to, and they can just walk up, grab their order, and walk back out. Now there's one thing that we also provide in our fundraising packet that is a manifest, and what you're going to have is a checkout sheet. This is really important because when your students or your parents pick up, you want them to check out their orders before they leave the premise. You don't want phone calls saying, hey, I'm missing. You need to make sure that they understand at pickup, they need to check their order. And then if there's anything that needs to be, if it's missing or if there's some damages, they need to do that on site, because that will only give you a headache later on of people who think they ordered something, but if you look at the order form, they did not. So always have parents check the orders before they leave. And in the packet, you're going to have a sheet with the student's name, and you're going to want them to signature that they did check the order and they checked out before they walk out the door. What we recommend is when you're setting up your fundraiser, you want a check-in table and a check-out table. The checkout table doesn't have to be manned, so you don't need a lot of volunteers. All you really need to have is a volunteer to check parents in, let them know where their order is, they can pick up their order, and then have them check out before they leave. If they don't check out, You just let them know when they check in that it's like the checkout process. So again, your orders will arrive to the school. They're going to be either on a pallet, or the FedEx drivers are going to bring them into an office or your organization. Now, as I mentioned, with every order, you're going to have a student's name or a seller's name on a box. Now, let's say the orders are not large. Within that pallet, you may also find a box, and it's clearly labeled. You're going to see where it says mixed carton. What that means is in this box are going to be more than one order. So what you want to do is open up the box, and what you will see is that we put in a bag the student's order. We're going to give them, again, their name, their number, the teacher, and all the other information that you need, so that way that student knows their orders inside, as well as their order form. So this will all come packaged in a mixed box if their size of their order isn't big enough for a box just for its own. Also in with the goodies factor is, and Poppin' Popcorn, is all the prizes are packaged in with the order as well. So if you're doing a toy incentive program, those prizes will be packaged in with the student's order as well, because again, that takes away the work that you'd have to do after a fundraiser. So let's go over the points again. We're gonna, depending on the size of the order, if it's more than 35 boxes, it's gonna come freight. So if you're a large school doing a fundraiser, you can receive multiple pallets. And what you're gonna wanna do for setup is make sure you have rows already clearly laid out within your organization. And as we talked about in a previous video, you wanna have space. So having the right amount of space based on the number of orders, your sales professional will communicate with you how many boxes will be coming, so that way you have the right location. We always recommend a gym. If you have a gym, schedule time with the gym teacher, because that's one of the most forgotten parts of distribution, is communicating with that space you're going to use and need, and let that teacher or that person in charge know that they're going to be receiving lots of product. The next thing you're going to need is some volunteers with a traditional fundraiser. We recommend 3 or 4 volunteers, because if you have too many volunteers, it just gets overwhelming. Because the only thing you have to do with our traditional fundraising distribution is put box number 1 next to box number 2, next to box number 3. You put them in numerical order, and once you're finished, you are set up, ready to go. And then again, in your fundraising packets, you're gonna have a yellow manila envelope just like this. And inside the envelope, you're gonna have all the forms you need to organize and check out or answer any question a parent may have. Because what happens often is when a parent picks up an order, they may have thought they ordered a certain item, and when they check their order, it's not in there. You're gonna have a report with the name of that seller and their entire order, and if that item's not on there, you have not been charged, so that if that parent wants to reorder, then again, talk to your sales professional. If it's coming ground, again, they will come strapped. So that means you're gonna have to cut the straps, and then again, you'll have to look at the boxes. Some boxes will have a student's name. That means that entire box holds the order for that student. Or you're gonna have a box that says mixed, which means that there may be individual bags to complete that numerical layout. So again, you may have bags 2 and 3 inside the mix box with a full box number 1, so you have to, again, put them in numerical order.